A new poll reveals more about how voters think Texas leaders and lawmakers are doing.
The University of Texas and the Texas Politics Project released the results of the poll earlier this morning. KXAN's Barrett Tryon has been digging through those results. And Barrett, we know people were split down party lines for some topics, but they did agree on certain things.
Yeah, there were a lot of things actually people agreed on, and that's making sure things like the electric grid is reliable, keeping consumer prices in check, and just making sure property taxes are affordable. Now, that poll happened last month for 1,200 self-declared registered voters. 84% of people said the state should improve the state's energy grid. 76% said they would love to have property taxes reduced, and 74% agreed the state should increase health care access. However, there were at least 3 topics where people felt lawmakers should not spend as much time on. 44% said the state should focus less on expanding legal access to abortion services. 39% said they didn't like the idea of a taxpayer-funded school choice program, commonly referred to as educational savings accounts. And 34% said placing more limits on legal availability of cannabis products like gummies. Now, when it comes to Republicans, those deemed extremely or very important to them, 86% want state agencies and local law enforcement to cooperate with the federal government in enforcing federal immigration policies here in the state. Limit the ability of judges to release people accused of serious crimes on bail, that's at 78%, and lowering the cost of everyday goods and services at 80%. Meanwhile, Democratic voters said increasing access to health care was #1, with 89% agreeing it should be a top priority. Increased funding for public education coming in at 88%, and also lowering the cost of goods, that came in at 82%. Well, when surveyed about how close people are paying to the legislature, maybe not totally surprising here, but most people say only about 8% said they're following it closely, and that's really in line with what we've seen in years past.
Definitely. Okay, we know the poll also looked at President Trump and his administration.
Yeah.
So what did people have to say about that?
Well, numbers show that Republicans strongly approve at 67% or so. Democrats strongly oppose of his work. That's coming in at around 72%.
The poll also looked at a Texas resident, Elon Musk, and the job that he's doing there. What did voters tell these pollsters?
Maybe not a huge surprise here, especially if you've been paying attention in media. 48% viewed him as doing a favorable job. 41% said he was doing an unfavorable job. Those numbers are actually down, though, since December, and really not a big surprise here, but Democrats strongly opposing what he was doing. We'll have all this online later, too, at KXAN.com. A lot of information.
I was going to say, it's a lot of numbers we just threw at you guys, and so, yeah, you did a great job breaking it down for us, Barrett, and I know people can dig into that poll on our website. Thanks so much.
Yeah, of course.